All right, guys, let's jump into Snyk.io and let's see why their website is what I feel a winning website. Here we go. So you'll notice when we land on the homepage here, I mean, there's so much, to take in immediately right away. First of all, it's a beautiful site. It's not cluttered. It's clean. It's crisp. They've got a nice use of color. They've got this cool gradient thing happening with the pink and the purple that's like inside of the text. Really neat, but it's not too much. It doesn't make me go, ah. And what we're going to do now is I'm just going to walk through the page, and there are some really key things that I want to highlight that I feel like no matter whether you are a ServiceNow partner, Salesforce partner, Microsoft, Oracle, even if you have a SaaS product in B2B tech, they are doing some really great things on this site that you can actually take, borrow, and implement in your own website, and not just your website, really your whole brand. And so let's look at what I feel Snyk is doing really, really well. First of all, full disclaimer, up until like 2 days ago, I was calling them Snick. It's actually pronounced Sneak, apparently. I thought that was interesting. Fail, but my bad. Sneak, if you guys are watching this, they give a great brand. I apologize. It's like on The Office when they are saying Sabre until the person from Sabre shows up and tells them how to say it. Anyways, guys, let's jump in. I'm using a product called markup.io. They're not an official sponsor, but they're awesome. Markup, if you guys want to, sponsor, hit me up. I think it's a great tool for marking up websites for sure and just making comments on live pages. All right, so we're going to walk through a couple things. You see, I've got my little bubbles here. We're going to walk through about 17, 18 things, and I've got a closing statement on number 19 here. So first of all, the first thing I just want to say right when you land, like Snyk knows their audience. They know who they're talking to. They are talking to developers. And I think that that's really great that they are not one of the B2B tech companies that's trying to just speak to everybody that's in part of the buying process. They know they're talking to developers, and that's awesome. The second thing here that's really interesting to highlight, their hero image, this is called a hero image above the fold, directly correlates to the text that you read over here: developer loved, security trusted, and then the subtext as well. Your image on your landing page, your hero image, should always connect to what the text is saying. Now, if this was a picture of like a guy on a mountain with a backpack, probably be a really cool image. It wouldn't make any sense. It would add confusion. And so what they have done is they've realized they understand their role in the story, they understand who their audience is, and the imagery and the text tell the same story. Really important that your imagery and your text tell the same story. The third thing is here, I put a little bubble next to these two call to actions. I'm usually not a fan of having two call to actions. However, when it comes to B2B tech, whether you're building offerings on top of enterprise technology or whether you're building your own solution, I think that it's really, really important that you make it low barrier to entry. And Snyk understands this. They've got two options. They understand that if they get you on a demo, their BDRs are probably going to have a high close rate, but they also know that B2B tech buyers are shopping, they're learning, they're looking, they're researching. Start for free is really awesome. They're saying, hey, look, give this a test drive. Really, really important. Let's scroll down here to number 4. I mean, look at all these logos. What we say about this is called credibility above the fold. And credibility increases what I call the scroll factor. People will scroll if they see that these other companies trust you, because this increases trust, which increases the scroll factor. If you have some names of clients that you guys have worked with and that use your solutions or buy your offerings, put them above the fold so people can see right away. Number 5 here, this is really interesting to me. Find and fix vulnerabilities in 5 minutes. I think this is awesome that they have made a bold but measurable promise. I'm going to say that again. They've made a bold but measurable promise. This is something that you need on your website as well for whatever it is that you're selling. Let's keep scrolling here. Beautiful site. Oh, this is interesting here. So I think that if you just read this at face value, you might miss it, but we're security experts, so you don't have to be. Snyk understands their role in the story as the guide in the narrative. This is really important. We talk about this a lot at Forest. And when it comes to your software consulting business or your tech business and your marketing, your branding, remember, you are the guide. You're not the hero. And Snyk gets it. I put a bubble here next to this. Explore the Snyk vulnerability DB, because again, they understand that people are researching and they're probably not ready to get on a sales call. So what they've done is they've given all these ways on their website when you can research and explore their solutions before you have to talk to a sales rep. That is key. This is awesome. So this section here, Snyk brings developers and security together. They are clearly and simply talking about the problem that their solutions solve. And that's great. We'll talk about the design of this here in a second. This is awesome. Yeah, so this section here, when you look at their case studies, what stands out to you? Immediately for me, it's not that they're big companies, right? Like these are well-known businesses. I think that's a key. But look, what do you see? The numbers, right? Learn how Citrix reduced risk by 50%. Learn how Australia Post decreased average time to fix by 59%. Learn how Telenor fixed 10x more critical vulnerabilities with Snyk. They are making the ROI of working with them clear and measurable. And if you're selling software solutions or technology solutions, or you're selling even like managed services when it comes to B2B tech, you've got to have this in your case studies. And this is really important. I also love how they just have three and it's not super overwhelming. We'll talk about that too. Again, number 10 here, they've got get started for free. Low barrier to entry. I can't stress this enough. What about your solutions or offerings can you give away for free? Or how can you let people test drive what you've got? This is what B2B tech buyers want, regardless of what it is that you build or do. How can you give them a sneak peek of what it will be like to use the thing that you've built? And then again, sort of the same thing here with comparing plans. They're being just really transparent and they're helping you research. They're establishing themselves as thought leaders and they're saying, look, we know you're going to bounce around the internet and compare solutions. Why don't you compare what we have on our site? We're going to help you look at the right features. We're going to help you look at, like it says right here, find the plan with the right features and functionality for your team. This is great. They are being a helpful guide. I think that's really important. The footers are a little bit much. They got a lot happening here in the footer. Like, I'd be like, can y'all consolidate some of this? But it also shows you that they've really thought intentionally about the architecture of their website and where they want things to nest. And they have a lot here for developers to learn. I think that's really key. Love to join the community. You gotta be building audiences. You got to be building community, guys. Let's go back up and look at some of the design here. So I think it's really cool that they have a mascot. You don't see this a lot in B2B tech, but when you see this Doberman, you immediately think of all of the emotional things that that Doberman represents, right? They are personifying their brand. Doberman's secure, strong, like a little bit scary, but it speaks to the toughness factor. And also, it's really well designed and he's cute. It's cool. Let's keep going here. So one thing that I wanted to highlight in this section specifically, it kind of relates to messaging, and it also kind of relates to design. Notice the short sentences, and they are not large chunks of text that make me read. This is really important for you guys to remember as left brain technology people, that those coming to your website and your landing page, they don't want to read a book. They want to scan. So the way that we always say this, it's helpful to remember people are skimmers, not readers. Snyk has this, they understand this. Short sentences, not large chunks of text. Let's keep scrolling. So you might just scan over this and not think, but this is really strategic. This is a snippet or a preview of what like a dashboard area might look like for their product. And it's really important that you use design to help people visualize the experience that they're going to have with your product. Now, you can't always give away all of the IP of what like a dashboard might look like. Snyk understands that too. And so you can see like some of this stuff is grayed out, but also it's giving you an overview of what it's going to look like back there. It's clean, it's minimal, and it's all contributing to telling that story to developers that we talked about. Let's keep going. So I talked about this a little bit earlier, but this is a very well designed section, but it's well designed for a couple reasons. And the first reason is they have visualized the problems that they solve. And it's important that if your solutions or offerings are fixing a problem, that design should visualize the problems that you solve. You shouldn't design everything, you shouldn't over design everything, but if you are going to design something, visualize and design the problems that you solve. They've also got these cool little patterns here and these dotted lines showing the idea of this gap being bridged and developers and security coming together. It's not obtrusive, it's minimal, it's clean, it's well designed, it's doing what good design on a landing page should do. And then 18 here, look at this is sort of the final thing. Notice how this section is just clear and clutter free. It's simple. It's not overwhelming. There's not tons of text. You've given me 3 options here. They've probably got hundreds of case studies, but they're not overdoing it. Less is more. Good design is as little design as possible. And this makes me want to just keep scrolling. Overall, you guys, it's a really beautiful site. I've got a couple of takeaways here. I've got up here on bubble 19 here. I just kind of put it randomly, but the first thing is this: you got to know your audience. You've got to know your audience. This doesn't just apply to your website. This applies to your whole brand, to all of your offerings, to all your solutions, even if it's managed services. You have to get really clear on who you're talking to, like Snyk has. The second thing, clarify your messaging. It's clear. You know what? I'm going to be honest. I don't understand what some of this means, but I'm not a developer. It's not written to me. They have clarified what they do in 1 to 2 sentences, and it's immediately clear who they are and the problems that they solve. Clarify your audience or clarify your message. Number 3, help your audience research and learn. Snyk is doing this throughout their entire website. You guys can scroll around and peruse around here. They are helping their audience research and learn because they understand that information is now a commodity. And if you're a software consultant, you can't date your information. You should be giving away all of your thinking. This is really important. And then number 4, quantify the ROI of what you do. Remember, they do this down here at their case studies. See if you can quantify the ROI of working with your company or working with your consulting team or the offerings and the solutions and the tech solutions that you've built. Try to quantify the ROI if you can. And then the final, and what I believe is maybe the most important thing here, make it beautiful and delightful for people to stay on your website. You might think that design is fluff. You might think that it's a nice to have, but Snyk has invested in a good design because they understand if people feel a sense of delight, people feel a sense of simplicity, they will stay on their page, they will interact with their brand, they will get on sales calls, they will buy their software, they will buy their solutions, they will invest. Design is not a nice to have. And the cool thing is, Snyk, you may look, they have a ton of funding. You don't need a ton of funding to do any of this stuff. You just need the right creative team and the right strategic thinking, a little bit of grit, and there you go. So I would love to hear, what else do you guys like about this site? Maybe I'm missing some stuff. What do you feel like they're doing well? What are some things that you feel like you could take and apply to your own brand and your website? Let me know in the comments on this post. And thank you guys for jumping in. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't. And I'm going to be doing more of these throughout the year, winning website reviews with Brandon. Thanks, guys.